Welcome to day one of Decode, Empower, Prosper, where we are going to be going through the way that you are uniquely designed to thrive and flourish in this world and how you can move from hustle to flow. So over the course of these 5 days, we are going to be delving deep into understanding energetics, understanding how you are designed to operate, and understanding where we are at in this space and time. So it's called the Decode, Empower, Prosper Challenge. And that is because we're going to be decoding your human design. I'll be talking a little bit about human design in a moment, but we're going to be discovering how you can be empowered to be your most authentic self and how you are uniquely designed to prosper. So I am excited to dive in. There are a few little housekeeping things. I have set the intention for anyone who is in this space, in this container, watching the replay in the group, that you will be able to integrate this information seamlessly so that you are getting into that slipstream of life nice and easily. So we are going to be together for 5 days, and over that 5 days we are going to be putting the pieces of the puzzle of you together and seeing how you are uniquely designed. The group is there for questions. If you have any questions, if this is new to you, absolutely, there is no silly question. Ask your questions. I have certainly been a beginner in the human design space, and I have gone from beginner to deep diving, understanding all that I can understand, and also understanding that the more I know, the less I know. So I absolutely honor where you are today. I understand that this is a new thing for a lot of people, and I'm just excited to share this journey with you. So we've got the Facebook group. There is an offer for a VIP upgrade. Now, this is a super deal, if I say so myself. You will get a report that is uniquely tailored to you, and I will also do a 30-minute video recording, which will help you integrate this information. The video recording by itself is usually $97, and the report is usually worth $47, but $47 for the VIP upgrade is available if you use the link in the group. I usually have Lisa helping me out, but she is away on a call. She's actually in Bali at the moment as well, but she'll be here for the remaining 4 days, and you'll get to know how human design has played a big impact in her life. Beyond the challenge, there will be ways to work together, and we'll get to that a little bit later as well. Okay, so my name is Kelly Slattery. If we haven't met before, I'm Kelly. I am a human design specialist. I am a manifesting generator. You'll discover all about the different energy types. I'm what's called a 6/3 profile, and I have emotional authority. What this means is, for me, I've discovered through human design that being me is fabulous, because I am the type of person, a manifesting generator, who is multi-passionate. I do a lot of things. I pick up skills from this, that, and the other project, and I pull them together. And the pieces that I pick up and the projects that I start don't necessarily have to be finished. And understanding that about myself gave me a huge sense of relief and gave me permission to move forward doing the things that I love, and letting go of the conditioning of the world of doing what people say you should do, doing the right thing. Because what I discovered is I kind of thought I was the black sheep of the family, but I think we all thought we were the black sheep of the family. I'm one of 4 children, and it's funny to say that we're children because we're all either in our 50s or heading towards our 50s. And that's another thing, we are always our parents' child. And so when we realize the whole scope of this thing, that our lifelong journey is being different things to different people, but also honoring our design throughout that, it becomes a big holistic picture that starts to make sense when we're able to unpack it and give it language. Right. So I am still a part-time employee as I build my human design business. So I have come home from work, got myself ready, prepared, and set the intention for tonight's call. And I'm also a lifelong learner. And if you know anything about me, you will know that I felt so awkward at school. I did not have that clique of friends that most people have. Well, I feel like most people have. And I always like turned up thinking, am I going to have anyone to be friends with today? So school was not a great time for me. And as much as I loved learning, I didn't actually love learning what I was told to learn. I love learning about what I love to learn about, which brought me to human design, and love sharing what I'm learning about also. So why are we in this space and why at this time? I'm going to share some slides with you so that it's not all my face, but at the same time, I like being face to face and I like having something to respond to. But it's also helpful for me to share slides so that for those learners who are visual learners, they can get that as well. Okay. So why this? Why now? So there is an energy shift happening on the planet. And what human design teaches us is that there are 400-year cycles. So over the course of 400 years, the planets move and we shift into different cycles. And what we're seeing now is the end of the cycle of the cross of planning, and we are moving into the cycle of the sleeping phoenix. And what we had in the cross of planning was a whole lot of infrastructure. So moving from the realms of kings and queens into local, like federal governments, and then state governments, and then local governments, and infrastructure like hospitals, buildings, roads, libraries, all those things came to be available to all of us over the last 400 years. And what we're seeing now is the disestablishment of those big infrastructures coming into the cross of planning. So some examples I like to give are like Hollywood. Hollywood has been this behemoth for 100 years or so. And now we're seeing the likes of YouTube creators being able to create their own full-length movies and share on YouTube. So they become their own movie studio. We've got more recently, Spotify taking on the record industry. We've had Uber taking on the taxi industry. So all these things are little increments of the changes that are coming from the bigger infrastructures into the individual having the power. So it is an exciting time for us, and the world is changing for us. The other thing that I haven't mentioned is AI and how fast AI is taking up space in our world, taking up space in our thoughts, becoming our confidant, becoming our therapist, becoming our best friend, becoming our advisor, and being able to do all those mundane tasks that we don't necessarily want to do ourselves, now that something is able to take that from us. And particularly as women, having something like AI take over those mundane tasks frees up a lot of our space and our time, which has been traditionally been used to carry the mental load of families, of husbands, of the majority of the unpaid labor that goes on in our world is carried by women. So having AI to take a small portion of that is a relief for us. Now, with AI, what I've seen, I've been using AI since 2023, the start of 2023. And since then, I've seen more and more and more of the AI come in. And the flip side of that is I have seen and even experienced in myself more and more desiring human connection. So when you see something that you think is written by ChatGPT or AI, you think, oh, it just loses its humanity, and it feels very cookie cutter. And so as great as AI is and as useful as it is, I think we're going to be seeing it go to the extreme and come back to the extreme of wanting that human connection. And the next point is human design, understanding the mechanics of how we are designed to operate, is now readily available. And this has become more so available since 2020, when COVID had us all in lockdown. People found that they didn't know what to do with themselves. And for those who were seeking more purpose and more meaning in life, they looked to ways to find it. And human design has had a massive surge in popularity since then. And it says there in the slide that your human design operates like gravity. It's energetics that are playing out all the time. It's your energy wanting to express itself, and that's how it operates like gravity. Gravity is always there, and our design is always in operation. And we all have an energetic blueprint. Okay, I love a good quote. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that's very much what we are seeing here in this space with AI. We need to learn, unlearn, relearn. It's not about reading and writing. It is about being able to navigate the changes that are taking place, and human design gives us that ability. Now, interestingly, this quote actually popped up. I've been a fan of this quote since about 2014, when my kids were in school and I was on the school boards, and there was this big thing about, learning of the 21st century, and the curriculum didn't change, but the talk about how education has to change for these children who are going to be growing up in this 21st century, coming out into jobs that won't be there. Well, the jobs are still there from when my children were at school, but now that AI has come into it, it's very much a changing world. Now, over these 5 days, day one, tonight, we're going to be covering decoding and discovering your energy and your overarching purpose. Day two, tomorrow, we're going to go through the Empower module, which is learning about your strategy, how you are designed to most effectively interact in the world. So human design teaches us, it gives us pretty much a manual to navigate life more easily, like with less friction. It just teaches us how to get into the slipstream of life. And so my hope is that you take away from this, these 5 days, the tools to be able to get into that slipstream of life, and you teach that to your friends, your family, your children, so that they all have this advantage of knowing how to operate. And it takes awareness to integrate it. It takes time for navigation of figuring out the experiment of, is this me? Is this conditioning? Is this my design at work, or is it something else? Is somebody else influencing me? And so it's a really exciting experiment to undertake. Then on day 3, we learn about our permission. So our authority in human design tells us how we are designed specifically to make decisions that we're not going to regret. Then day 4, we go through the Prosper module, how you are uniquely designed to prosper. It's all there in your chart. And in day 5, we are going to put it all together. So, what is human design? Human design was introduced in 1987 by a gentleman called Ra Uru, and Ra went through an 8-day mystical experience. And during that experience, I'm just going to stop share so I can talk to you. And I'm sorry about that puppy barking in the background. So this mystical experience was 8 days. He was under the influence of the light, he calls it, and what was revealed to him was a synthesis of ancient wisdom and modern science. And this came out before, now science has caught up. So this happened in 1987. We're now in 2025. And in the years since that experience, science has caught up with some of the information that he received and verified it. So it's in the human design world, we call it a user manual for life, or to relate it back to non-human design speak, it's a modern Myers-Briggs, although the Myers-Briggs model and the those psychological models are based on your mental processing, or your personality processing, whereas human design is based on your energetics, and we'll unpack what your chart looks like in a minute. So we have all been taught to do life in pretty much a cookie cutter fashion. We have all gone to school. We have been taught to get good grades. And if you get good grades, you're going to be successful and you're going to get a good job and you are going to be set for life. And for the majority of us, the reality doesn't actually match the dream or the promise that was given to us. I know it's certainly the case in my life and all the people around me, all the people that I work with. It's been like, oh, how did that turn out for you? No, and nobody's held accountable for that, right? Nobody's held accountable, which is the thing I love about human design, is that when we have our blueprint, when we understand our design, understand the way that we're designed to operate, we're in control. And personal sovereignty is another big thing of mine. When we have that knowledge and we have that power, then we are in control and we have that sovereignty over ourselves to determine our path. Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. Okay. Next. Probably I'm going to, so human design, it's made up of the astrology system. So in your chart, you'll see the planets, which run down either side of the chart. On the left-hand side, you have got where the planets were 88 degrees before your birth, and that is aligned with where they say that the soul comes into the fetus. And then on the right-hand side, you've got where the planets were at the exact time of your birth. So it is kind of important to have the birth time accurate, or as accurate as possible. If you can't get that accuracy, then there are ways to determine it. If you can find out from your family, or you can run your chart and see if the planets are different from the morning to the evening. On some days, the energy type changes. Most days it doesn't. So it's just a matter of playing with that. Another suggestion has been using a pendulum to scry for when that time of birth is. So there's a number of other ways. So if you have any questions about that, pop them in the chat. The chakra system. So you'll see there are 9 energy centers in the chart, and that is based on the chakra system, where the chakra system has 7. Human design has 9 because it's got the heart center, the G center and the heart center, and then it's also got the spleen and the solar plexus separated out. The Kabbalah, shows us where the energy paths go through the body blueprint, and the I Ching. So you'll notice that there are 64 different numbers that are mapped out on your energy blueprint. And then those are those ancient systems, and then quantum physics comes in with the modern system. And so in that, we've got the neutrino streams that are coming through from planetary energy at all times throughout the day. It's never-ending stream of information that is going through our world. We have our intent. And if you're familiar with Dr. Emoto's work with water, he did some experiments where he had bodies of water where he spoke harshly to, spoke kindly to, put intentions into this water, froze the water, and the way that the water crystallized as it froze, the patterns of pleasant words gave us beautiful symmetrical patterns, and the patterns of the harsh, unkind, hateful words gave us all jagged, non-symmetrical patterns. So the way that we put our intentions out, the meaning we give to things, and our awareness influences energy. So it influences the other part of where our energy is flowing. So if I am wanting to set an intention for my business or set an intention for my work day, how I set my intention and the meaning I give to these things is influenced by that quantum physics. And the thing about human design is it works with everything. So understanding your design is not going to compromise any beliefs. It's not going to affect any practices that you have, like any rituals. It is how you inherently are designed to operate. So it doesn't contravene any values that you would have. It, in fact, is more inclined to align or clarify those values, those beliefs, and the knowledge of yourself. All right, going back to share, because this is where it gets interesting. And, well, interesting or gets clearer. Right, so we can see here, as I've just described, where we have the planets. So we've got the sun, the earth, the north node, the south node, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto on the right-hand side and the left-hand side. So the left-hand side is unconscious because it was the information that was imprinted 88 degrees before birth, or approximately 3 months before you were born, when the soul comes into the fetus. So in here we have the unconscious stuff, the generational stuff, the lessons to be learned in this life. And then we have the conscious on the right-hand side. And this is stuff that you will recognize in yourself. It's also lessons to be learned or gifts that you've been given. And as we go through these 5 days, you'll see how that all plays out. And then we have here the chakra system with the energy centers. Now, I'll get onto that a bit later. So each of the energy centers, we've got the head center, the ajna or the mind. We have the throat center, the G center or the identity center. We've got the heart center or the ego or will, it's also called. We have the solar plexus where our emotional energy is processed. We've got the sacral center where the life force energy comes forth from. We've got the splenic center or splenic where our intuition, our fears, our survival instincts live in here. And we've got the root center where our drive, our stress, our adrenal, our pressure to do things sits in here. Then we have the lines going between each of the centers are called channels, and that is based on the Kabbalah, so how the energy information flows through. And then each of the numbers at each end of the channel is based on the I Ching. So in everyone's chart, the 64 numbers are in the same place. So number 1 is in the middle there. Number 2 is at the bottom of the diamond. Number 3 is at the bottom of this square. And then it gets a little tricky. So number 4 is up in the ajna. Number 5 is down here. So it's all over the place. But as you spend more time with your chart, you get familiar where the placements are. And you'll just be probably looking at your own numbers that show up on this side and seeing where they are, and this side too. Okay, so that's a description of the gates. So the numbers are called the gates. The lines between the energy centers are called the channels, and the shapes are called the centers, the energy centers. All right, so that, just flick back there. So when we have different energy centers colored in, that determines our energy type. And the energy type is where we start the journey of your human design. So we've got your blueprint, and the blueprint is always going to start with the overarching purpose, which is your energy type. Okay, so what is an energy type? An energy type tells you the mechanical way that you are designed to operate in the world, and it's determined by the connections in your chart. There are 4 energy types. You'll hear it said, and I also say this myself, there are 5 energy types because one is a hybrid. We have a manifester, a generator, then we have the hybrid of the manifesting generator, a projector, and a reflector. And so each of those energy types is determined by the way that their energy centers are connected, or not in the case of the reflector. So our energy type tells us that there is a different way for us to operate other than the way that we've been taught in the mainstream world, other than the way that we've been taught when we went to school, and other than the way that we have been taught that to operate in business. And so it's fascinating stuff. All right. So I've just mentioned there's manifestors, generators, manifesting generators. These are they say that it is 4 energy types because the manifesting generators are actually generators with manifestor potential, because they've got the energy connections or the energy centers lit up or defined that make them a generator, and then they have other energy that make that I want to say here that creates the manifestor energy as well. So manifesting generators are generators with manifestor potential. The projectors and the reflectors. So that's the energy types. And you will see in your blueprint that you would have generated, if you followed the steps 1, 2, 3, your energy type there. All right, so manifestors. Manifestors are the pioneers of the world. They are born with this inbuilt trailblazing, initiating energy. They are the type of people with the energy to provoke, to challenge, to initiate. They have creative urges, and the urges that come up in them are to lead us forward. They are here to show us the way. And because of this, they have a powerful aura that can be quite repelling or not really inviting. So that they're the kind of people you'll see. And what comes to mind is an image of New Yorkers. You know how they're just, if you've watched a movie with New York in it, they are just focused, on track, wanting to get this job done. So the manifestors are independent, they're powerful, they spark change, and they inspire. There's about 10% of them in the population. And the crazy thing is that we have all, going through our schooling system, been taught to act like manifestors. We've been taught to set a goal and just chase it, go after it, do it. And that's not the way that we are all designed to operate. That's the way that 10%, if that 10% of the population is designed to operate, to think of what they want, to set a goal and go after it. That is a manifestor, the pioneer and the trailblazer. Now, our generators, they are the builders of the energy types. And if you think of a generator, like when the power goes out, you want energy. So you're going to look for a generator. You're going to ask anyone if they've got a generator you can borrow so that you can get plugged back into the power. And that's what the generator is. They are the power source, the energy source of the world. And so when you look at the manifestors and the generators and the manifesting generators, they make up about 70% of the population because they've got that generator energy, that life force energy in the sacral center. So they are the builders. They are the energy source. They're the workers. They are here to master the things that they love and to and when they're doing the things that they love, they are lit up and their energy regenerates. Now, the thing about the generators is that they have this amazing capacity to work. They are the ones who you call when there's work to be done because they are the workers. But if they're not doing the work that they love, their energy gets drained, and then that juicy life force energy, it's not there and it's not available for us to draw on, for others to draw on. And so when you see people trudging to work and just on that rat race, on the treadmill or the hamster wheel, not loving it, it's likely that this could be a generator who's just doing the work to get through, doing the work to survive. And all of us, we're not just here to survive, we're here to thrive. We are here with a purpose and with a design that is written for us to be able to discover and to follow. So generators are here to do what they love, and when they do what they love, their energy fuels the other people, fuels the world. It's like they bring the party. That is the generator energy. They have this enveloping energy that it feels like a big hug. And when you get to look at your chart and look at the chart of your loved ones, have a think about, is that the energy that they're bringing, like the manifestor energy, the generator energy? We're going to move on to the manifesting generator. But before I do, you'll see in there that they have a sacral response, which we'll get to in tomorrow. Actually, we'll go deeper into that tomorrow. But they have growth and then a plateau. And so that if you are a generator, this is something to be really mindful of, that you'll go through a growth phase and then you'll plateau. But because you are designed to master things, that plateau isn't, you can feel like, ugh, I've had enough. But you need to check in because sometimes that plateau is ready to be your launch pad to the next growth phase because you are designed to master what you love. So let's move on to manifesting generators. Now, in the introduction, I mentioned that I'm a manifesting generator, multi-passionate, and the key thing about manifesting generators is that they are non-linear beings. So not designed to follow step 1, step 2, step 3 to get to the end. They will go, oh, step 1, step 2 doesn't look necessary, so I'm going to go to step 3 and see what happens. And so they move fast. They pick things up, they miss steps, and often have to come back and fill the gaps. But when they do that, there are things that they discover are not actually necessary to get the job done. So when they move fast and skip those steps, not everything has to come back and be backfilled. And the things that don't need backfilling get refined. So very much refining things, moving us forward, picking up different skills along the way, and finding shortcuts. And they primarily have the generator energy, but they also have that manifestor energy as well. And when you combine that, it gives us that non-linear pathway and picking up all the bits and pieces. And yeah, so between the manifesting generator and the generator, around 70% or 65 to 70%. Then we have the projector. Now, the projector, if you think about a movie projector, it is the light shining away and sending us some information. So the projector in human design is here to guide. They are energy efficient. They can see where things can be streamlined, where efficiencies can be maximized. They can see things that other people just don't see because they have this unique way of seeing patterns, seeing trends, and seeing pathways for us to follow. And so when you've got a projector in your life, they have a lot of wisdom to share, but their wisdom is best shared when it's invited. And that's something that we'll be diving into deeper as well. The reflector, now reflectors make up almost 1.5% of the population, and the reflectors actually have none of their energy centers colored or defined. And because of this, they are, as the name suggests, a reflector, a mirror for the energetics that are happening where they are at, whether it's with the people that they're surrounded by, with the environment that they're in, with the project that they're working on. They can mirror back where this project, people, places, things are out of harmony and what can bring them back to harmony. So they amplify energy because when you've got open centers, that's where you're taking in energy and amplifying. And when you've got colored centers, that's where you're broadcasting energy. So reflectors don't broadcast any energy, they reflect back. Which means that they don't have consistent energy like the other energy types do. And they are super sensitive to energy. So if you know someone who's a reflector, this will probably make a lot of sense to them because they come into the world with all this reflective energy and don't have that consistent sense of self, consistent sense of belonging where they are, and just everywhere that they navigate, they're sampling energy. So that is our 4 or 5 energy types. And as I say, look at your chart, see what energy type you are, see how that resonates with you, and ask any questions in the group. All right, now, each energy type has particular conditioning that that homogenizes us or makes us try to fit into this cookie cutter world, because when manifestors are young, they are often, their energy is doing its thing. It's wanting to initiate things, to go out. It's very independent. It's very confident energy. And when they are being themselves, as young children, it can be too much for adults. And so they will get the sense of being told that they're too much, that they need to just settle down, quiet down. And if you are of my era, we were the children who should be seen and not heard. And we were a little bit coming out of that era. I think we raised the children to be seen and heard. But we were very much, children are to be seen and not heard, and obedient children were just the best, right? So manifestors, through conditioning, have become people pleasers. So if you feel like you've got some manifestor energy, or if you have manifestor on your chart and you feel like that maybe could be me, maybe not me, I'm not really resonating with that, maybe because the conditioning has been so strong. Like, I know when my parents raised us, we were very good children. We would, whenever we visited our grandparents or aunties or uncles, we were the children who would do the washing up before the movie, you know, and all our aunties and uncles and grandparents thought we were the most well-behaved kids, and we were, but that was a whole lot of conditioning. Like, um, we were always taught to be very responsible, always taught the consequences of our actions. Very, very good children, but that doesn't necessarily equate to a well-equipped adult to be able to be authentic and be visible and be uh, confident, and to show up in ways that conditioning has kept us obedient and well behaved. So yeah, my parents didn't raise rebels, although my sister's a bit of a rebel. It's no holding back her energy. But yeah, it's fascinating when we are able to look through this lens and reflect on the way that we were raised. Now, generators. The interesting thing about generators is that they love to say yes. Their energy loves to say yes. And because of this, they get stuck with all the obligations. And so if you find yourself as a generator picking up the slack of colleagues who aren't doing their share of the work, it's kind of like, well, the work needs to be done. So if they're not going to do it, I'm going to have to do it because the work needs to be done. That kind of energy can be coming through from generators because they see the work, they know they can do the work, and they feel obliged to say yes. The thing about generators is not everything is your responsibility. And tomorrow we're going to talk about how to know whether it's your responsibility or not, or what to say yes to and what to say no to, where to set a boundary. So generators have had their energy drained by picking up the slack, by doing all the things, by doing the things that other people just wouldn't do, but needed to be done. So generators, let me know if that resonates. Manifesting generators, now because they are multi-passionate, like to do all the things, they get conditioned with, why can't you stick to one thing? Oh, you're starting something new, are you? Oh, haven't you finished that other thing? No, we haven't. We haven't. We've picked up the skills and we're moving on. We've got a new thing. Shiny object syndrome is actually a really big thing for manifesting generators. So our energy loves to start new things. And through human design, we get the discernment and the tools to know which things are right for us, when it's right to move on, which projects actually do get finished and which ones don't. And so if you're a manifesting generator and you've had all these projects, all this potential, all these businesses that you have wanted to start, know this: not every idea has to be a business, and not every idea has to generate money. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh my Lord, what a relief. How did you know I was actually thinking that? How did you know about all those business plans that I've created throughout my whole life? So yeah, all these little unique things for each of the energy types and the conditioning that comes in. And so when we recognize that conditioning, we can be like, so it's okay to be me. It's okay to be me. It's normal for me as a manifesting generator to want to do all these things, to not finish every project, and to be happy starting new things. All right, so our next energy type is the projectors. And the projectors, they don't have the sacral energy of the generators, and they don't necessarily, we'll see some examples in a minute, but they don't have the sacral energy of the generators. And the manifestors also don't have the sacral energy of the generators, and the reflectors don't have the sacral energy of the generators. So they each have a different way of working with their own energy. So projectors are not designed for the 9 to 5. They are designed to, excuse me, they are designed to work when the energy is available and not to always try to be like the generators. So generator energy is they have the capacity to work that 9 to 5. They have the capacity for shift work. They have the capacity to do everything. Doesn't mean that that's right for them. And the projectors don't have that sacral energy. So the projectors, it's likely that they are running on empty, that they are burnt out and they are exhausted because they are showing up and doing the work like a generator when that's not actually the way that they're designed to operate. So they are designed to work when the energy is there and rest when it's not, to play, to learn, to hone their skills, but not to always be go, 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 go. So if you're a projector, let me know how that resonates. And reflectors, their conditioning is that they are considered fickle and they're expected to know who they are and they're expected to fit in to that cookie cutter world like all of us are. Like I said, we're taught to be manifestors through the school system, follow a linear path. Not that manifestors have to follow a linear path, but to follow one path to get to one destination for happiness or success. And so reflectors, with all their open energy centers, taking in the energy of all the people, places, things, it would make sense for them not to know who they are. It would make sense for them not to know where they belong, because when they are in the energy of one person, they can take on that identity, or they can absorb that identity and think, oh, this is who I am here. And then they move to another group of friends and it's like, oh, well, this is who I am here. And so our conditioning to be judgmental also doesn't help, because we'll be judging the reflectors like, oh, they're like, they're like this around this group and this around this group. They are fickle. And that's not the case. That's not the case. They're just not designed to be one type of person all the time. So that is how the conditioning comes in, and how we find ourselves not being authentic because we've been taught to be somebody else. We've been taught to be good children, obedient children who have been grown up into adults with all this conditioning laid on us. And even through that, through our parenting, through our education system, go to school, get good grades, put your hand up, ask permission to go to the bathroom. I don't think that's a thing so much anymore. And then, you're always trying to earn someone's respect or attention, get their attention and things like that. So that's the world we've been raised in, to please other people, and it hasn't necessarily served us well, and in most instances has not aligned with the way that we are energetically designed. All right. So you are not broken. You are living in a system that actually wasn't designed for you. And I hope this has been illuminating for going through these energy types and the conditioning. You have a worksheet, you've got a workbook, and that has your energy type. It's got your personality, sun placement, and space for your definition. And so now we're going to move into some of the examples. So for the people in the group, Yvette is a manifester, and we can see that because she has a motor connected to her throat. Motor connected to her throat? Yes. So in human design, there are 4 motor centers. So one is the heart center, the other is the sacral center, the root center, and the solar plexus are the motor centers. And so when we look at Yvette's chart here, we have this motor center connected to the throat. So that's the 12 to the 22. This is what makes Yvette a manifester. A motor center connected to the throat and not having a sacral center defined. So that sacral center is special juicy energy for the generators and manifesting generators. Okay, so Yvette. Generators, we have Storm. So Storm has her sacral center connected to her G center or identity center. And that is what makes her, she's got it connected through the 34 to the 10 and also the 5 to the 15. So she's got two connections going on there. And then she has the root center connected to the solar plexus emotional center. So the energy type is defined by this sacral center connected to the G center. Okay, and then we've got Rachel over here. She has got the sacral center connected to the solar plexus, and then it continues to be connected to the heart. That is what makes Rachel a generator. It's that solar plexus being connected to that, that sacral center being connected to the solar plexus. That alone makes the generator energy. Okay. Now, manifesting generators, we've got Lisa here. She has got her sacral center connected to her G center, but this is a really interesting channel because this one, that 34, connects 34 to the 57, connects 34 to the 10, and it connects 34 to the 20. And Lisa's got all of these connections going on here. Now, in human design, this is called the pure manifesting generator because we've got that sacral motor center going directly to the throat center. So that's a pure manifesting generator because you've got the generator motor to the throat center, which is the manifesting center. Tiger over here, Tiger has the sacral center connected to the G center through that 5 to the 15. And that is what gives her the generator energy. And then she's got the 12 to the 22, just like Yvette, and that gives her that manifester energy. So when these two are separate, but together, they make that generator with the manifester potential. So that's Tiger, the manifesting generator. Then projectors, we've got Chrissy here, and you'll notice our projectors don't have the sacral center defined, and they don't have a motor center connected to the throat. So you can see here, Chrissy has a motor center defined or active or colored, but it's not connected to the throat center. So Chrissy, because she doesn't have the sacral center defined and doesn't have a motor connected to the throat, that's what makes her a projector. Same with Shelley Lynn. She doesn't have the sacral center connected to the G center or the splenic center or the solar plexus or the root center. And that is what makes her a projector. Also doesn't have a throat to a motor connection. And then we have, this is actually Sandra Bullock. So I don't have any reflectors in the group. So Sandra Bullock is one of the most famous reflectors. And you can see that none of these energy centers are connected. Doesn't mean that Sandra doesn't have energy when I talk about the sacral center, because obviously she does. She works long hours on film sets, but that's through tapping into the energy of the generators around her. She can tap into that sacral energy and have it amplified for the time that she is doing work. Now, what else did I want to say here? So that is the different energy types, and you've seen how each of the ladies in the group connect. The other thing I wanted to mention is your personality sun placement is this number here. So this is called our personality side, where we have, that's where our conscious side is. So we call that the personality. That's our unconscious or our design side, or and this is our sun placement. And the sun placement is said to give us 70% of our expression, 70% of our energetic expression. Okay, so Yvette, you have got personality sun, gate 7, line 1, and we'll come to that later in the course. And that gate 7 sits here in the G center, the identity center. And then when we look at your energy definition, you have a connection from the head to the ajna, but it's not connected to the throat. And then you have this connection from the G center that goes to the throat center and also connects to the solar plexus. So that is one energy grouping and another energy grouping, and that gives you what's called a split definition. And so the split definition means that your energy just takes a little bit of time to process information. And that may or may not make sense, but for some people it makes sense that you might think of something, and for me this is the case with my split definition, think of something and then although you have an intention to act on it, it doesn't come until much later when the energy arrives for it. Bear with me 1 minute. I'm just going to flip that light on. Okay, so next we've got storm. So storm has the sacral to the G center. We saw that before. That's one energy center. It's not connected anywhere else. And then she's got the root to the solar plexus. So that's another energy center. And so again, it's what's called split definition. So can take a bit of time to process information. Rachel has similar thing going on here. We've got the G center connected to the solar of the sacral through to the solar plexus and up to the heart center. That is one energy grouping. And then we've got the head connected to the ajna, but it doesn't actually come down to the throat. So that again is a split definition. And the reason I am sharing this is because when you've got different splits, there's a single definition, a split definition, triple split definition, and quadruple split definition. And when you understand your definition, you can get a bit more awareness about how the energy flows through you. So if you've got the single definition, which Lisa has over here, so she has got the sacral center connecting to the spleen, connecting to the G center, and the G center connects to the heart or the ego center, and this sacral center also connects to the throat center. So that is all connected there. So that single definition, easy to make, easy for information to flow through, easy for decisions to be made quickly. And then Tiger over here, she has the throat center connected to the solar plexus, and then she's got the G center connected to the spleen center, which connects to the root center, and then the G center also connects to the sacral center. So that there is one big grouping, and then the throat to the solar plexus is another grouping. So that's split definition. So when Tiger's processing information, she can make a decision to do something, but then it might not eventuate until a bit later as the energy just gets processed. Chrissy has this connection, these three centers connected up here and these two connected down here, which is that split definition again. And then Shelley Lynn has got this connection here. So that's one. And then she's got the heart that connects through to the solar plexus that connects through to the root. So again, that split definition. And Sandra has no definition because nothing's connected. So we've got single definition and split definition. We have had in previous groups a triple split definition, and the thing about the triple split is when they go and work in a cafe, they are super productive. When they're out or walking through groups or in a shopping mall, just where there's people around them, that the aura, the energetics of the aura of the other people bridge those splits, and so then the information flows. But when they're on their own with that, with the split, the disconnection between each of those groupings of the energy, then the information just takes a bit longer to process. So if you have the split definition, and when you get more familiar with your charts, you'll see that, for example, Shelley Lynn, if you find someone with the 25, that is going to bridge that split for you, and you'll find that things just flow a bit smoother for you. Chrissy, if you find someone with the 36, then you're likely going to feel comfortable around them, and also that energy information is going to flow smoothly. Let's see, you're a single. Tiger, where was your split? Okay, so for Tiger, if she had someone with the gate 3, that's going to connect that root up to there. Actually, no, it is, sorry, gate 19. That's going to connect all of that together. And it could be a mixture of different gates. That's the one that I'm seeing here. But yeah, the energetics, the electromagnetics, connecting things up. Storm, if Storm had someone with the gate 53 coming through, that would connect that one. Rachel, if you had someone with the gate, oh no, what are we looking at here? We need a little bit more here. So we would need a 21 and a 56, or yeah, because this one isn't connected to the top. So we would need, you've got a lot of options here, like someone with the 17 or the 43, and then any one of these, or actually that's probably the best one, or a gate 1, a 21, and one of these would bridge that split. And because we all have different configurations, it's not difficult to find someone with that, and you won't even necessarily be conscious of it. It's just that the energy flows easier. And Yvette, what do we got here? We just need someone with a 56 or a 42, and that would connect all of those together. All right. Let me go through it. Okay. So take some time to go through your workbook. There's a reflection and an activation. So reflection, we've got these questions in your workbook. Just what if? So what if the way that we've been taught isn't actually the way that we've been designed? That's certainly what I believe. Just stop sharing so I'm talking to you. So what if you are more powerful than you imagine? What if you could flow rather than force? What if your head was never meant to be in control? So we've been taught to make all these logical decisions, but the energy of our body is actually telling us what's right for us. And what if your worthiness is beyond your wildest dreams? Because when we go to school and went through that process of trying to be straight A students or trying to get good grades, I was reflecting on this the other day with my daughter. Like every time, this is how I operated. I was striving for 100%. Like I was studying to get 100%. And I don't know if I ever got 100%, but every time that you don't, that's a little seed of failure. And through 12, 13 years of schooling, And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because I always was aiming for 100%, not aiming for a pass. Like, you know the difference between a pass and 100%. And it's like those little bits of failure, layer upon layer, get into the psyche, get into our identity. And so when we are not achieving what we had set out to achieve, our expectations get a little bit shattered. So what if we are worthy beyond our wildest dreams? Like, what would that look like? It's just some expansive thinking so that we can take on the truth that we are more powerful than we've been led to believe. We are more worthy than we've been led to believe. We are designed to operate in a way that is significantly different than what we've been led to believe. So welcome to your energy. See what else we got. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. And if you are loving this and want to get started, then my recommendation is to get a human design planner, and I'm going to drop the link in the group. This is a 12-week planner that allows you to integrate your design as you go about your normal daily life. So it's a hybrid between chasing the goals that we've been taught to chase and learning to integrate your design into your life. So you can be chasing the goals because we don't know how to do differently until we are taught how to do differently, right? So I designed the planner, actually, I should mention that. So I designed the planner, and I designed it to be a integration tool that doesn't disregard where we are right now, right? So when you come into human design, you've still got goals to achieve. You've still got things that you need to do. You've got habits and things that need to be done. And so the planner integrates all of that. Let me see if we've got one. So this is what they look like. At the beginning, like, I've added all about human design. So if you think, oh, what was it again? What was she talking about? The human design is all in here. So a little recap on your energy type, your strategy, and your authority, which is what we're all going to be going through over this week. You've got space here to write your energy type, your strategy, your authority, your profile, your not self, your signature. And then in the daily pages, you've got what goal you're working towards, what's the one thing that you need to do today to get you closer to that goal, because we are in this world where we are goal-oriented. I'm not going to deny that, but as we move out of it, we're going to be looking at, oh, what's my energy doing today? Like, what's lighting me up? So for generators, what is lighting me up? Where am I feeling drained? What can where am I feeling frustrated? What do I need to get rid of? How can I, how am I making my decisions today? And what does my authority tell me how to do it? And then we've got the mood check-in. So based on your human design, you can check in your mood throughout the day and add your time there. There's a whole lot of great stuff in here. The habits, which were integrated from, because before human design, I was into productivity, focus, goal setting, habit stacking, habit tracking, all the things. And so I've incorporated that into these planners so that we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but we're integrating our human design as we are still following the path that is familiar and introducing the stuff that will become familiar. So I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning, but human design is an experiment. So you're invited to experiment with the energy. You're invited to see how this all plays out with what is your truth. And as you learn about it and integrate it and go deeper into this, because in my experience, everyone has resonated with this, then this is one tool that you can use to get to know yourself better. So I invite you to grab one of these. It's a really good tool to be able to integrate your design. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you for day 1 of the 5-day challenge, and I look forward to seeing you on day 2.